what are your conclusions of what are the major reasons for radicalization of the youth? What was the most precious impression of the seminar, what you have learned as an organizer?
Well, today we've been trying to get closer to understanding why young people become susceptible to a message of hatred and violence and extremism. And we've also been talking about what kind of narrative can we as a community offer them as an alternative, a narrative that is convincing. And I think my first conclusion would be we need to invest a lot more in understanding why young people, because we got some elements. For example, there are more young males, but they may also have been in contact with petty crime and violence before. They may come from a background with personal trauma, like a broken home or losing a parent, for example. It may be socio-economic backgrounds, but I think it's clear after today we got some idea, but we need to invest a lot more. And ultimately, prevention is a much better and cheaper and more effective strategy than repression at the end of the process.
Do you believe that there can be European strategy at this point to invest in youth which is fragile or which is susceptible to these radical ideas?
Yes, absolutely. In the first place, by exchange of good practices and information and knowledge. I think that's really very urgent, but also because we have a counterterrorism strategy. So we can choose, we can make the political choice where we put the emphasis. Do we want to put all our money on repressive measures at the end of the process, if you want, when it's already too late, or do we want to put our means, our money, in prevention strategies? That is a political choice to make, and I think I'm even more inclined after today to opt for the second, to say we really need to shift the available means towards prevention a lot more than repression.
Or what is the most striking feature in prevention? What you learned today from the sharing experience of with your colleagues and with the mayors and with the scientists? What is the major feature? What is the major measure to prevent this negative development?
Well, I think a lot of young people are susceptible to messages of extremism because they feel somehow excluded, or they feel there is injustice. They feel not treated the right way, or they have some other kind of personal trauma. So we have to make sure that every single individual in our society feels that they're part of the society, not only because they're told they're part of society, but also because society embraces them. They also have to feel that justice is for all, that the law is applied equally, that principles apply equally to everybody, no double standards. And this is something that's an important lesson, I think, because in counterterrorism strategies we talk a lot about justice, democracy, liberal democracy, but in reality we do apply double standards. There is discrimination. We don't apply penal law in an equal manner to people with a Muslim background or not. I think we can also learn a lot from, or rather we should draw the parallel more with mechanisms for radicalization and violent extremism in other contexts, because we think that this is a unique phenomenon. Well, it's not. This kind of violent extremism is from all times, and we need to draw more lessons about the mechanisms from, for example, neo-Nazis or Nazis or other movements of violent extremism.
Do you think that Europe should create its own Islam, its own school of Islam, integrating the old religion in our European democratic societies?
It is not about public authorities creating a religion, but I do think, and this is also a lesson I learned today, we have to make sure that, because there is a tendency within every religion towards more extremism, and one of the lessons we learned today is we need to make sure that there are more moderate forces within religion, all religions, not just Islam, because I also encounter in my daily practice forms of fairly fundamentalist Christianity taking a lot of influence on policy. So that's also an important lesson, I think.